Alrighty, I think we're gonna get started, and if more people join, then we will catch them up. All right, hi everybody, welcome to Miller Senior Tech. Good morning. Today we're going to be teaching a class about tech in the workforce. We haven't taught this class in a while, so I hope it's something new that's really helpful, whether you still work or you just have files on your computer, and we'll cover just a lot of good basic stuff that's good to know no matter what you do on a computer. So today is Sunday, January 14th. Wait, Evan, go back for 1 second. And we're starting at 11:30. That's when our classes usually start. And today our class is sponsored by Nancy Ostreicher. You could go to the next slide. So welcome. Again, it's sponsored by Nancy. And if you want to sponsor an upcoming class, you can email info@millerseniortech.com. Sponsors are really important for how we keep Miller Senior Tech running on a yearly basis. So if you're interested, you're you know what, I'll sponsor one class, anything's helpful. Okay, so we always like to start off by reading our mission statement. So it is the responsibility of the younger generation to educate seniors about technology. The goal of Miller Senior Technology is to cure the issue of social isolation within senior communities and to help seniors feel connected with our new world of technology. Our personalized classes strive to educate seniors on how to communicate with friends and family in the manner in which the world is accustomed to today, and how to use technological tools to enhance and simplify their daily lives. So one of the slogans that we use is changing the world one senior at a time. Okay, you could keep going, Evan. Okay, so we always also like to start off with some statistics. So we've taught over 3,500 seniors in 10 different countries, and we've taught over 450 classes over the past 6 years, which is crazy. Okay, so today's lesson is tech in the workforce. So we're going to start off with some organizational tips on your computer. We're going to show you both on a Windows computer and on a MacBook, Apple or another brand, about organizing files if you have a lot from over the years, creating new files, everything of that sort. Then we're going to talk about some business email tricks. We know that many of you got this email to join this Zoom, but we kind of go into depth about things that you may have decided, oh, I don't need to know how to use that, but they're actually really helpful. And lastly, we're going to end off with Google Workspace. We do have a separate class about Google Docs and Google Slides, but this is a good overview, and everybody really seems to enjoy this topic. Okay, so without further ado, Ella's going to be teaching our first section, but I'm going to start off and just read this on the slide about staying organized with files. So understanding how to work with files and folders is an important part of using your computer. Once you understand how files and folders work, you'll use them all the time. In this lesson, we'll show you the absolute basics of working with files, including how to open files, move your files into folders, and delete files. So that's kind of the overview of the first part of this. Okay, Evan, you could go to the next slide. Okay, so Basha is going to be teaching this first section. And one of the things just to keep note of is we're going to be showing both a Windows and a Mac computer. So if you're wait, I don't recognize that, that's not my computer, just double check which one we're talking about, and we'll reiterate a few times over the course of this lesson, but it's okay. We understand that it looks different depending on what type of computer you have. All right, Ella, you ready to start?
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ella. Like Stella said, it's really important to focus on the window that you have so you don't get confused with the other one. So just to clarify, the left side is the Windows desktop and the right side is the Mac desktop. So I'm just going to talk about what that means, what it looks like, and all the different features in it. So first of all, on the Windows desktop, you see all of these different applications. So what this means is there's as you can see, there's different sorts of slots that are on your desktop. So going through each one, first it says the recycle bin, which is an application that people use to recycle. We're not going to get into that, but just so you know what it is an application on your desktop. Below it, you can see it says cover letter, which is a W. So this is a Word document. So these are going to be on your desktop automatically or manually. It all depends on what you have, what your settings are. But if you see this, this is just to inform you that that is a Word document. Next to it is going to be a picture. Right next to that is going to be an audio, and then right next to that is going to be a video. So these are all the different types of files that you can see on your desktop. And then on the right side is the Mac. So as you guys can see, it doesn't say, like the Windows, it doesn't say that there is a video, audio, so you're just gonna have to look at the prefix at the end of it. So as you can see, it says resume.docx. So this means that it is a Word document. Right next to it, it says boats.jpg. A JPEG also means an image. So whenever you see JPEG, you're gonna think image. So we can tell that that is an image on your desktop. Right next to it, it says Disco Dive MP3, and an MP3 is an audio. So these are just the different ways that Apple lets you know what you're looking at. So JPEG is a picture, MP3 is an audio, and then right next to that, it's Beat Trip MP4. MP4 is usually a video. So instead of showing you the words again, it's just going to tell you with the prefix. On the bottom, we can see that the person organized their files into a folder. And a folder is a really effective and efficient way of organizing your different files on your desktop. So we're really going to get into the details on how to make a folder, how to organize a folder, and how to use a folder later on in this lesson. But just so you guys know, that is what a folder looks like either on a Windows or a Mac desktop. Okay, next. Okay, so there's the way to get to this menu, for Windows, there is a left clicker and a right clicker. You're going to click on your right clicker to get this drop down menu option. And on a Mac, you're going to double click with 2 fingers on the icon or the file that you are looking for. So first on Windows, we can see there's a lot of options, but we're going to focus on the 3 main ones. So one of the big ones is sending a file. So the way you send a file is when you either click on right click or double click, you can see that it highlighted in red, it says send to or share. So that is how you are going to send this file to whoever you want to share it with, your business partner, your family, anyone. But that is just how you are going to access the share button. Next is the copy button, which is also really important in case you want to make a duplicate of the file, if you want to send it to someone else, if you want to one for your own, separate, whatever, doesn't matter. But that is a great way to copy this file onto your desktop. And the last one is rename. So this is really important. It's really important to rename your files because it's going to really help you in the future when you are looking for the file. Let's say you want to name this file that you have clicked, you want to name it Mittler Senior Tech. So in the future, when you look for files with Mittler Senior Tech, this is going to pop up. But if you didn't rename it, then your computer would have no way of knowing that this is your Mittler Senior Tech file. So it's really, really important to name your documents and your files on your desktop for organization purposes. Yeah, okay. So to find files, this is what I was talking a little bit about before, but to find files, you're going to do one of 6 things. The first thing you can do, this is mainly for Apple. If you have Windows, then don't really count this. But you are going to look at your recent items folder. If you have Windows, I think there's a recents folder too. So that is one way that you can find your files really easily. The second one is going to be downloads. So you're going to see a folder that says downloads, which is primarily the images or the files that you downloaded from the internet onto your computer, or that someone texted you, you're going to download that file onto your computer. So the way you find this specific file is on the downloads folder. And the next one is going to be the trash folder. Anything in the trash folder is something that you placed there, or maybe mistakenly or on purposely placed there, but you have 30 days to recover the file that is in the trash folder. Otherwise, it will be gone. So just be really careful what you put in the trash folder because it will be gone if you don't recover it soon. And maybe you're looking for something you mistakenly placed in there. You can always check it. It doesn't clear until you you press clear or it just deletes in the 30 days. The next one is going to be your folders application. If you press on your folders button, it's going to show you all of the files that you were looking for. The fifth one is the desktop, which is what we were looking at before. It's just when you open your computer, you see your screen and just a bunch of little attachments on your desktop. So this is another way to manually find your files. And the last one is going to be your documents folder. If you press on your documents folder, a bunch of your files will pop up and you can look for according to date, time. Yes. Next. So this is another, maybe the easiest way to search for files, which is what I was mentioning before, that it's really important to name your files. So on the left, you can see on the Windows, you can, on the bottom of the Windows application, it's going to see a little magnifying glass. It's circled in red. And then you can type in whatever you were trying to find. So let's say you're looking for a carrot cake or a carrot picture that you have downloaded to your computer. You're going to look up carrot, and hopefully your Windows will show you the carrot image that you renamed. On the Mac application, you can see a magnifying glass on the top right of your computer, and once you press it, you can look up anything you want. For example, this is a surfing image, so you're going to look up surf, and right, I said JPEG is going to be image, so it's going to show you an image. But it's really, really important to name your file so that this comes up, because if you did not name it surf, then your computer would have no way of knowing that this is the surf that you are looking for. So that's why it's really important. And you can look up any files, not just an image. It could be an audio, it could be a recording, it could be a video, it could be an image, all types of files. The next thing is going to be looking at your library. So on the left, it's talking about the Windows library. So this is another way that you can manually access your files. You can look on the downloads, pictures, photos, and the last three we can see are photos, work, and recipes, which are folders that you may have previously made. So you can double click on these folders to find specific files that you were looking for. And on the right side, we're going to be talking about the specific application called Finder. So Finder is also another way that you can access your files manually and see all of the different options we were talking about before, like the downloads, documents, desktop, etc. And once you press the Finders folder, you can see all of the different folders that you may have made in the past, or that your application or computer has made for you automatically. So this is also a great way to manually find your folders. Also, I would like to mention that these two apps are almost like the brain of your computer. So every single file you have is going to be stored in these two apps. Oh wait, sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Ella, so much. That was really helpful. So basically, just to sum up what Ella taught us about today was you have a file, you know it's there, and you want to find how to get to it. And your computer is like a stack of like 500 files, and it's up to you to keep it organized, because otherwise it's really hard to find like what you're looking for. So we recommend that if you're a person that like who's not that organized, that you do find like what we're teaching you to find your files and get them organized. So Ella talked a little bit about a folder, and we haven't really addressed it head on. So Ella, thank you. You did a great job for talking about files, but now we're going to go in and talk about what a folder is. Once we've established what a file is, a folder is made up of many files. So we're going to start with how to create a new folder. So we're going to first start off with Windows and then go to Apple. So just you could listen for both in case you know someone that has the other, or just pay attention to the one that you have. Okay, so we're going to start off with creating a new folder with Windows. So if you see in the top left corner of a Windows computer and you have your file application open, there's this little yellow box, and you're going to click on that and create a new folder. And also, just to preface, because you're on another application now, for example, Zoom, or if you have Safari open, the files might look different or where to find them. So make sure that when you are going to create a new folder and looking at your files, you have every other application closed. Okay, so you're going to click on the new folder, and this is going to bring you to like a section with all your folders. And if you see, the new folder that we created is this one that's highlighted in blue. It says school documents on it. So this person divided up their like files into different folders: photos, recipes, work, budget, and now he wants to create another folder. Okay, we could go to the next one. Okay, so now for Apple, if you want to create a new folder, you're going to go to the top bar of your screen, and you're going to click on File, and then you're going to click on New Folder. So it's just a different way to open a folder depending on if you're on a Windows or Apple computer. Okay, next up, we're going to be showing more about Apple. So if you see here, we're currently in Documents, and this person has divided up their files into different folders. So you see here, they want to create a new folder with finance. So they want to put all of their financial documents or anything related to finance in this folder. So how do we do that? We're going to go and show you guys. Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to go back for 1 second. Right now, this folder is in Documents, but when you're clicking on this folder, you can click on Desktop, Application, or Downloads to put it into a different section. Okay, you could keep going. Okay, so there's a few different ways in Apple in order to put files into a folder and stay organized. So one of the ways to do this on Apple is you're going to click right on your screen and drag until you see almost this box that covers all 3 files. So if you hold down and you only cover one file and let go, only that one file is selected. If you hold down and drag your mouse and only 2 files are selected, only 2 files will enter that folder. And as you see on the screen here, this person held down, right-clicked on their computer, and dragged it so that all 3 folders are selected. So once you let go of right-clicking, then you can't select any more folders. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, so then another way of doing this is you hold down on Command and you can click on specific files that you want to select. So depending on what computer you have, your like keys will look different. But what you're going to do is you're going to hold down on Command, and then while you're holding down that Command button, you can click on whatever files you want to select. So for example, you're looking at your files and you say, okay, the only files I want to select are budget and resume. So you're going to click Command and you're just going to press on those 2 files and it's going to enter that folder. Okay, that's the second way to do it. And then the third way to do it is if you want to collect a lot of files, what you can do is you could hold down the Shift, meaning like the Shift key on your keyboard, and you could select the first and the last file, and everything in between will be selected. So for example, here, we held down the Shift button, we pressed cover letter and resume, but once we pressed the first and the last one, the document in between was also selected. So if you want to select, for example, like just 20 out of 50 files, you press the first one, you press Shift on your keyboard, you press the first file and you press the last file, and everything in between will be selected for you to put into that folder. Okay, that's our third way. And then there's also a fourth way to do it. So if you're just like, okay, I want all my files to go in one folder, you can press on your keyboard Command A, and it'll select all the files within that folder. So if you see here, we pressed Command A and it selected every single file. So just to reiterate, we have 4 different ways that you can select files and you drag them into folders. So the first way is you click and you drag to select files. The second way is you hold down the Command button and you select the specific files that you want to put in that folder. The third way is you press Shift and it's going to select the first the last, and everything in between will also be highlighted. And the last way is if you just want to select every single file, you click Command A. Okay, so that's with Apple. Now we're going to be selecting multiple files in a Windows computer. So it's very similar to Apple, just it looks a little different. So we wanted to make sure to show you both ways. So if you see here again, we're gonna right click and drag, and we right clicked and dragged so that all 6 of these files are selected. So again, to reiterate, if you right click and only select one file, only that one file is selected. If you want to select all files, you must click and drag to all of the files. Okay. And then the second way is if you click Control or Command, you can select specific files that you want to go into that folder. So we see here, we have 6 files, but only 4 of them, this person wants to go in that folder. So they click Control or Command, and then you can select these specific files. Okay. And then the third way is you're going to click Shift, and this is going to, you're going to select a first and the last one, and then it's going to select everything in between. So again, if you have like 20 files and you're like, okay, I want all of these in it, you can select the top one and then the bottom one, and then everything in between will be selected. Okay, and then the fourth way is you have 50 files and you just want to select all of them. So you're going to click Control A, which will select every file. So that's our 4 ways to select multiple files and put them into a folder. So just to like reiterate and make sure everybody understands, it looks a little different depending on if you have a Windows computer or you have a MacBook. Another thing that might look slightly different is your keyboard. So if you have an Apple computer, the command button is to the left of your space bar. But if you have a PC computer, you look for the control button. So depending on what computer you have, you can look down and like familiarize yourself with your keyboard, which will help when you do want to select files. Okay, and one other thing that we've had a question on this in the past is if you want to organize your folder, your files, instead of putting them into folders, someone had asked to color code them. So we really recommend putting them into folders just because it's much easier. But if you do want to color them, there is something called a tag. So by right clicking on a file, you will see different circles with different colors. So if you want, like manually, you have maybe 5 files and you don't want to put them all into a folder, you can right click on a folder and click on one of the colorful circles and it will be classified as that color. But we really recommend putting them in folders just because it's much easier. For example, as we showed here, you have a lot of stuff to do with finance. You're doing your taxes. You have a lot of tax documents. It's much easier to look up finance and to see all your finance folders than try and find the color that correlates to finance. Okay, next up, Ethan is going to be teaching us about some business email tricks. So that this first part of the lesson covered files and folders. And another really important thing is your email. So when we teach email, we kind of hope and we're teaching it as if everybody knows how to send and reply to an email. And we're going off of that foundational knowledge. And if you don't have that knowledge, totally okay. You could still listen in on the class. But what we do recommend is buying our Computers Basics class, which does have 2 full classes that goes through step by step how to send an email and how to reply to an email. So here we're basing it off that you have that foundational knowledge. Okay, Ethan, you're going to be teaching us about business email tricks, which include a signature, vacation reply, snooze, and schedule an email. All things that in the past you might have like seen, skipped over, noticed, but have just thought, I don't really need that. We're going to show you why it is something that could be really beneficial. Okay, so Ethan, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Stella. One last thing, this is only works for Gmail. So if you don't use Gmail, then none of this applies to you. So if we go onto Gmail, yeah, that's one of the ways you can access Gmail. You press in the top right, there's this menu button that's made up of 9 dots, and you can access all of Google's applications that they have available for you. So then you can go to Gmail. In the top right, there is a picture that looks like a gear. That is the settings menu. If you click on it, and now we're in quick settings. If you press see all settings, we will be able to access all the settings. There's a ton of sections, but everything that we are going to be talking about should be in general. So if you scroll all the way down, the fourth to the bottom setting will be, I believe, will be signature. Fourth to the bottom. So signature, when you create a signature, if you select it, it will appear at the end of every single email that you send automatically. This way, you don't have to write it all out. Like in this case, this business signature, instead of having to write out name, phone number, email, location, and website link, you can just have it automatically put there. And you can use multiple ones, just so long as you select it. So here, when sending an email about Mittler Senior Tech, you would use the business signature. But if you're sending an email to friends and family, you would use personal signature, which might say like with love and then your name or something like that. And you can create more with the create new button. And whenever you want to switch signatures, you just have to go here and click on the signature you want to use. Next to each signature, there's an image that looks like a trash can. That's the delete button. You can get rid of it using that. Next to that, there's on the left, you can edit it, the name. But all the way on the right, where all the text is, that's where you can choose what it will say. You can choose the font size, whether it's bold, and a ton of other settings. This is very useful because then automatically at the end of every email, this will show up. Yeah. So you can also add pictures to it. So if you could add the logo of what you work for, you could add the Mittler Senior Tech logo to this, among many other things. You could add files and whatever else. There are also other signature settings under the create new. Under the create new. When you create a signature, you choose the name. And then you would press create, and then you can choose what's inside. And then on the right, you can put something random in there, and that'll be your signature. Under the create new button, there's signature defaults. This way you can choose specifically which emails you're using. Depending on the email you're using, what signature will be used and whether it will even use it. And you can also choose if you're replying to an email, whether the signature is used. And by default, there's 2 dashes before the signature. You can get rid of that. So that's signatures. They're very useful. It's faster to use signatures and type it out every time. Let's say either you're on vacation, but you don't want to seem rude by ignoring people's emails, but you can't always access your email. Or you just are tired of getting emails and you want to get people to ignore you, which is generally not what you want to do. All the way at the bottom of the settings, there's vacation responder. If you, by default, it is set to off. First, to use it, you will have to press vacation responder on to turn it on. Choose what day it starts being active, which you could just make today, or you could make it when your vacation starts. And then if you want to, you can make it automatically turn itself off on a certain date. such as January 21st, if that's when your vacation ends. This will automatically send an email response to any emails you get. So if you get so this way, while you're on vacation, instead of checking your email and having to respond, you can make it automatically respond by saying, I'm sorry, I'm on vacation right now. I will get back to you as soon as possible. So here you choose your days. Under first day, you choose the subject of the email. So this is the subject of the email that will be sent back. You can say on vacation for the subject. And then the message is just like a normal email, except it'll automatically be sent to any emails you get. Yeah, it'll just send a response. So it'll say subject on vacation, message, I'm sorry, I'm on vacation. I will get back to you as soon as possible. You can choose your font, your size. You can add files, links, and anything else. If you get a lot of emails from the same person within a short time span, it will automatically stop sending a response each time and only send it once every 4 days. And under the message section, you can choose so it'll only automatically send a response to people in your contacts. So let's say you get random emails from Mittler Senior Tech because you signed up to get emails from them. You can, if you do this, then you won't send a response to them, but you will send a response to, say, your friend if they email you. So with signature and vacation responder, you will need to click Save Changes before any of these come into effect. And then whenever you change something in your settings, you will have to, again, press Save Changes. If you don't want to use these settings, you can press Cancel. Yeah. Next is snoozing an email. So this is useful if, like, say you've just gotten so many emails you need to look at. It's overwhelming. And you're like, okay, I'm going to look at these emails in a few days, and I'm going to look at these emails right now. But you don't want them to all pop up, so it's easier to access the ones you want to access right now. So let's say there's this email from YouTube over here that you don't want to look at right now. You want to look at it in, say, 3 days, okay? So if you, while you're hovering your cursor over the email, on the right, while you're hovering over the email, you will see this clock image, and that's snooze. If you click on it, you can choose an automatically set time for it to disappear from your email until that set time, when it will pop back up and it'll tell you, hey, you snoozed this. Now you want it back. Or you can pick a specific date and time. If you click on that, there's an entire custom opening. You can choose the date, you can choose the time, you type it in, there you go. If we were to snooze that email for today at 12:06, which is 1 minute from now. Yeah, PM. If we click that, it's fine. It'll work. If we press save in 15 seconds, it'll pop up. But meanwhile, on the very left, there's like a menu bar over here. And there you can click on your inbox, your sent images, and your snoozed. So you can see what you've snoozed in case you finished all your work early, for example, and you're ready to, and you can access it early. And just now, the snoozed email just came back. And if you stop hovering over it, it will show snoozed 1 hour, less than 1 hour ago, which makes it pop out. And it's an easy way to clean up any clutter you have while still being able to access these emails when you want to. Next, there's scheduling an email. So if you create a new email, when you create a new email, you can type everything in, the signature gets automatically put in, and everything. If we press compose. Yeah, so there's a new email. Send it to like yourself or something because you need to have something inside for it to be sent to. Okay, so you send it, you've got everything done, you got the subject, you got the text, you've got who you're sending it to, but you don't want to send it right now because you don't want it to like seem too prudent or something like that, or like let's say you're not going to be able to send it because you're on vacation, but you want to send this specific email at a certain time. Like let's say you want to send a happy birthday email, but you're not going to be able to send an email when you would usually send it. Instead of just pressing send and hoping that they just don't see it, next to the send button, there's this arrow. If you click on it, there's schedule send. If you press that, a calendar will show up with default options for when to send, or you can pick a date and time, like we did with the snooze. But this is basically the opposite of snooze. Instead of this email showing up when you want it to, it will automatically be sent when you want it to. For example, you want to send something and get a work email at 6 p.m., but you're going to be having dinner with your family then, and it would be rude to just pull out your phone and quickly send an email. Or you finished this email and you don't need to send it until tomorrow. This way you can just automatically have it be sent tomorrow and instead of having it be there early. This is all very useful for any situation where you're not going to be able to send it when you want to, or it's 3 a.m. for some reason and you've made an email, but it would be extremely weird to send an email at 3 a.m. So you schedule send it for 7 a.m. That's everything that we have for business email tricks. Next is Ella with Google and Google Drive.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Ethan. We know that was a lot of information to digest, and just like reiterate a few things. A signature is something that's really cool because you can almost like sign your emails. And if you're like part of some company or you have some like cute logo, it's really nice to put that there. Evan, can you go back to the previous slide for one more second, please? And then another thing is definitely like replying to email, like scheduling replies or replying to emails when you're like not able to. So if you decide, oh, I'm going out with my grandkids, but I need to have an email scheduled for this time, Ethan showed us a very good example of sending a scheduled email, or snoozing other things. Again, this is a lot of information, but hopefully some of these like little things that you derived from mail will help make your lives a little bit easier. So next up, we're going to have Ella, and she's going to cover a little bit of like Google Docs, and yeah.
Okay, hi everyone again. So this is just going to be a brief introduction to Google Docs, but I'm pretty sure I have a whole other lesson on Google and Google Docs to further explain this. But just to introduce, Google is probably best known as a search engine because that's how it started out. So Google is a resource that you can use to look up anything in the world, to find answer to questions, to find more information about how to use technology, it's like an online encyclopedia, and it really helps with a lot of research, a lot of just things you want to look up. And today, Google provides many services you can use to perform various tasks such as Google Drive, Google Classroom, and Google Meets. So this means that Google itself has a application called Google Drive, which is a resource that helps you make slideshows, helps you make Google Sheets, helps you make documents, and helps you really keep track of organization. And this really helps for school, for work, for personal stuff. Just to keep yourself organized and keep track of your life in terms of doc slides and sheets. So again, Google Drive is a free service from Google that allows you to store files online and access them anywhere using the cloud. So anyone can access Google Drive, anyone can make a Google account, and I would recommend this. I'm sure a lot of us would, that it's very, very helpful in terms of organization, in terms of keeping your information stored in one place effectively, and you know that it's reliable. Google Drive also gives you access to free web-based applications for creating documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and more. Like I said, to reiterate, this really helps with work and personal life. There is also a search engine, I think, called Google Scholar, which is specifically for research and any questions about history, I think. So why use Google Drive? So first of all, Google Drive is one of the most popular cloud storage services available today. So you know that it's reliable, you know that it's effective, organized, and you know that nothing will get lost if you don't put it in the trash can. It won't just disappear. So you know it's reliable and effective. If you've ever used a cloud-based storage service like Google Drive before, take a moment to consider the advantages of keeping your files online. So if you've ever had a bunch of files, I know I have a bunch of papers like loose in my room, Google Drive really helps me store them online effectively so that I can find anything whenever I want it, unlike the actual papers and the flashcards that are just all around my room. Because files can be accessed from any computer with an internet connection, Drive eliminates the need to email or save a file to a USB drive. And because Drive allows you to share files, working with others become much easier. So this is a really, really great bonus or advantage of Google Drive. So for example, when I don't have my computer and let's say I'm on vacation, but my mom has her computer or my friend has their computer, I can log into my Google Drive and access all of those files. I do not have to use my computer. I don't have to be in a specific place or time. I can always access these files whenever I need to, wherever I need to, which is really, really useful and helpful in terms of organization. So just to go through what each specific Google document spreadsheet is like known for or used for. So Google Documents is for composing letters, flyers, essays, and other text-based files, which is similar to Microsoft Word documents. I know that my mom uses Microsoft Word and I use Google Drive, and they're both really great effective ways to store information, but Google Documents is a little bit more straightforward. It's less it's easier to understand in my opinion. Google Spreadsheets is for storing and organizing information similar to Microsoft Excel workbooks. So Google Sheets can actually do math for you. They can store data. They can upload resources. You can type equations and math formulas, which is really helpful and they could also make graphs. So that's really great for showing statistics, analytical things, maybe to do with work or school. Google Presentations is for creating slideshows, which is similar to Microsoft PowerPoint presentations. So this is really great also for creating, maybe for launching a new idea at work or for even presenting a weekend or a new idea to your friends in a really great, fun, creative way, which engages the audience more than maybe a document would. A Google form is for collecting and organizing data. So that can be really helpful if you're trying to maybe conduct a study and you want to collect information. So you can create and send out a Google form to whoever you want. It doesn't have to be someone who only uses Google. You can send it to any user on the internet. And with that form, you can actually put your data into a spreadsheet to make a graph. So all of these things are kind of interconnected. It's not just one or the other. And then lastly, there's the Google Drawing, which creates simple vector graphics or diagrams. You can draw, you can create, you can make shapes with Google Drawings to really visualize what you were trying to express through your data and through your drawing. Stella, do you want to?
Okay, this is just an example for if you would have opened a Google Doc. So like sometimes what happens is like the example here is like an annual like potluck dinner. Someone could send you a Google Docs and then just like a sign up sheet. So that happens a lot of the time. Like, okay, we're having an annual dinner, sign up this way. So it would send you the Google Docs, and this is what the Google Docs would look like. And you would be able to add your name, add what food you're bringing, or add whatever comments. And it's something that's really easy. And this is just like an example of like what Google Docs would look like if you're not familiar with it.
Really quick before we talk about Google Calendar, I just got a question. Does snoozing an email change the arrival date of the email? It I mean, it leaves your inbox temporarily. You can pin an email. I believe you can pin an email, so then it would stay at the top of your inbox, or you can mark it as important. But if you snooze an email, it goes to a special snoozed section rather than staying in your inbox. And then it pops back up at the chosen time. But if you go to your snooze section, you can view it and you can cancel it. We mentioned earlier, in the all the way on the left of Gmail, there's a little menu that has where you can create a new email, click on your inbox, your drafts, and a bunch of other things. One of the options is snoozed emails. Great. Now we're going to talk about Google Calendar. Google Calendar is extremely useful. It's free. It's an online calendar. You can organize your schedule or coordinate events with others. It has many useful features, including the ability to share calendars with others and easily switch what is currently being displayed. Yeah, you can get the email back earlier than the original snooze date by going to the snoozed emails area, and there should be a button to stop it from being snoozed, or you could just access it from that section. Sorry. So if you go to calendar, to get to calendar, it's pretty much the exact same as you can do to get to Gmail. There's that menu that's 9 dots on the top right. We could show an example. We could show an example right now. Instead of clicking on Gmail, you would just click on calendar. So in Google Calendar, also in the top right, next to the gear, which implies settings. Sorry. I'll respond to that question after Google Calendar. Next to the settings, it says week. There you can click on that and you can choose how you're viewing your Google Calendar. Right now it's showing you the current week of February 14th to 20th, but you can switch to month, day, so it'll show you all the events on the current day or in the entire month. You can, and there are a few other options. So you can choose that. You can choose to see the entire year. All of these different colored rectangles are different events or tasks that you can add to Google Calendar. To add it, if we could go onto Google Calendar to show what the menu is to add an event, and a few other things. Yeah, so there's this menu of 9 dots. You click on that. There's calendar over there with a little 31. So if you want to add one of these rectangular events, you could press create, or you could click on which would automatically create an event on the current day, or you could press any other day, any of the days that are shown here, not the number itself, just the blank part. If over there you can see day, week, month. So if you just click not on the number but any other part of it, no, yeah, there. Okay, so you can add a name for your event. Let's say doctor's appointment. You can choose whether it's an event or task. Appointment schedule, that's a little different. That would be used if you're the doctor, for example. Task is something that's more like a to-do list. You would be like, go to the doctor's. Once you save it, you're able to check it if you've done that. But if you add it as an event, which is generally what you would do, it's like it'll pop up at that time in a notification as your doctor's appointment's happening. So here you can choose the time. If you click on Sunday, January 14th, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can choose the day separately here. You can choose the times when it happens. So you can make it click on all day. So it's supposed to, so it'll show you that it's happening the entire day. Or if you uncheck that box, you can choose a specific time in the day when that will be happening. You can also choose to make it repeat. So it could be like daily. So every day it will show up, or weekly. So every week it will show up. Monthly, let's say you have a doctor's appointment every month on the exact same day, then you can use that. You could also make it happen once a year and a ton of other stuff. If we click off of that, you can add guests, which lets you add other people to this. So if you know so let's say you want to have that potluck dinner, you can also add your friends to this. If you add their email and add guests, if you type in their email, you will be able to make it so they receive this event as well. So then everyone who you add will see, oh, doctor's appointment. You could add people you're going to the doctors with. You can also add a Google Meet, which is Google's version of Zoom. Under that, you can add the location. So you could put the doctor's office there. You would you would add the address of the doctor's office, and then you can add description or attachments. Here you can basically write a much longer description of what's happening, and you could add a file. And then here where it says Jordan Mittler, if you click on that, there you can choose which calendar you are using. We will talk about that a little bit later. If you click on more options, if you click on more options, you will also be able to add a notification, an amount of time before it happens, and a few other things. So on the left-hand side, there's a bell, and there's notification, and then you can choose next to it the amount of time beforehand that you would get a notification saying, hey, your doctor's appointment is about to happen. You could make it so an hour before the doctor's appointment is like, remember, you got to go to your doctor's. You can make it a day before, a week before, a year before even. Great. And then you would press save to save your event. Also, if you, I forgot, so you can delete it and change the color if you right click on it. If you also when creating an event, I forgot to mention this. If you go into more options as well, and then you go to more options, I believe, where is it? You are able to, on the notification, I forgot, if you click notification, you can change it from a notification that shows up to an email. You can make it so it sends you an email saying, hey, you've got your doctor's appointment, if you see those more often than other things like on your phone. Great. And then last but not least, there's creating calendars. So if you see on the left, it says my calendars and other calendars. And next to other calendars, there's a plus, which if you click on it, you see all this. You can press create new calendar. If you press create new calendar, you can create a calendar, which can each have specific settings. And then you can make each of your events have specific calendars in each of specific settings. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Ethan. That was a very in detailed way of a calendar. Really using your Google Calendar is very helpful. It's kind of similar to a calendar on your phone, but a lot of the time, some people want to keep work and personal things separate, or other cases. And using the Google Calendar is really helpful and has a lot of really cool tricks that Ethan showed us. We had a questions in the chat, and I just wanted to address them before we closed. So a question that just popped up was, can you show how to set up a recurring reminder? Did Ethan, did you address that? Want to quickly?
I did not address that specific aspect.
Do you know how to answer that question? You want to answer it?
So we just showed how you can do that in Google Calendar, which would be the preferred way. I think the question was in the context of Gmail, but I would really recommend you just do it in Google Calendar instead.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ethan. The next one was, someone wanted to see the library on the files. Evan, is there a way that you could open up the files on your computer and show the library, please? And then Ethan, just a question that we're going to address after is, someone asked if you wanted to choose to like snooze an email, like, is there a way for it to like reappear? Like will it reappear or will it just disappear? Someone asked if you want to answer that also.
It will disappear from your inbox until the time you set for it to reappear, and then it'll go back to the top of your inbox. If you want it to go away forever, you can just delete it or put it in spam, which are both settings that are next to the button we showed that allows you to snooze an email. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. Again, here, it's different if you're on Zoom right now. So the question was like, it's not working. I can't see the library. So once you close the Zoom, reopen files, and then on the left side, there should be a way for you to see your library. And if not, you could just click the search button, depending on whether you're using a Windows computer or a Mac computer. Hope that was helpful. Any other questions? We have like another minute before I close. We're good? Alrighty. We're gonna sum up today. So this was a part of our season 6 free classes, and we've been really doing this for a long time. So we hope that our classes are helpful. Keep going. Okay, so we mentioned a lot about this today because our basics and advanced class go into a lot more detail on topics that we just touched upon today. So for example, we have our computers basics class, which is $75 for all 10 lessons. And you could find them by going to millersenior.technology/basics class. And this is one of the things that will cover all your basics with email and something that will cover some more in-depth Google Doc stuff. And then if you feel as though, all right, like I know the basics, like today we touched upon a couple like advanced topics, I'm like, I want more, you could purchase our advanced class, which is $100 for all 10 lessons. And you could go to millersenior.technology/advanced class. Okay, so something new that we introduced this year, which is really cool, is our top 10. So we're introducing our newest and coolest courses. So you could sign up today at millersenior.technology/top 10. So these are stuff that's not included in our basics class, it's not included in our advanced class, but it is something that is some like cool random classes. Another new thing that we introduced is our Tech Concierge program. So this is something where it's an unlimited 24/7 email tech support by the Miller Senior Tech team. So it's only $30 a month and good. And you need one-on-one help, we're really happy to do that for you if you purchase this program. Okay, and stuff that's been around for a long time, but we're going to reiterate, is we have our group classes. So we could come to we could come to your senior home if you have friends, anybody who you know. We do some group classes. We actually have one at the Mariah Senior Center in February. So if anybody's like affiliated with that, we'll be there in person. We also do some private one-on-one lessons. One of our Miller Senior Tech volunteers went on Friday actually, and it was like really nice. He was able to help them set up their computer. So if anybody's still struggling or knows somebody that's struggling and needs a little bit more of like a one-on-one support, we're really happy to offer that. And then we also have our Tech Tip Tuesday. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, and we post some fun things. And every Tuesday we teach you something that like a tip in technology. That's something that you could learn in like 3 minutes. Okay, so another thing is what allows us to teach these free Sunday classes is sponsors. Services, you can contribute to our financial aid program, you could sponsor an upcoming live class or even a Tech Tip Tuesday and spread the word. It's really by word of mouth. We do our best by posting on Instagram, but if there are people that don't even have phones, don't even have Instagram, and are still very isolated, the only way that we could really truly reach them is by word of mouth. So tell anybody you know. And thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you learned something about files, folders, using Google Docs and mail, just like kind of important things when you have a MillerSeniorTech.com if you just want to learn more about us. So thank you so much, everybody, and we hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and even for some of you, a long weekend. Bye, everybody.